Hello everyone, we're back working on the ceiling ornament. Back on electrics, because obviously I didn't have enough to do with electrics on the bloody bike. Chronologically, this is just got back from Europe. The first trip videos come out. Please have a watch, by the way. I'm really proud of that, apart from getting the sound wrong on Dave's mic. But there's been a couple of more developments. Now, we were going to make an exhaust, but that, apart from a few dings, is a Tuscan exhaust. I need to do a bit of stainless welding on one of the tips. 70 quid on Facebook Marketplace. The wire to make it would have cost me 70 quid. The silencers would have cost me 70 quid. So, we've got all sorts of parts now. We still need to work out those. But that bit's for another day. I think I'm going to make some pipe. I think I might make something. And then... I don't know. We'll come to that. But we're going to finish off electrics. Now, there were some videos from a little while ago that I will put in as well, because I can't remember what I did. We ran a mains lead, so now I've got option to do the negatives. We got ourselves a step, battery, sorry, to pop in here. So I'm going to do the negatives. So we've got a couple of earth points that goes through into the bars, I guess, that sit behind the dash. That must be main chassis earth there. Then we will run one, I think, round onto the engine block, because you can never have too many grounds. Battery cables. We came with various. I don't really know where they're going to go, but the main leads from the batteries, the starter and everything, will upgrade. So this is 50mm rather than 35, and we're going to have a go at crimping on some lugs. We don't really want it to burn down. So strip that off until you can see it poking out like that, and then we've got this. This really is the finest in Chinesian tooling. It's got 1/0 AUG, whatever that means, or 50mm if you're Church of England. And what it does is just squash the crimp, really. It's easy on your own, as you can see. There we go. And it comes straight off. Should we try 35? So this is real. This is consumer journalism. It did actually say in the manual that you might need to use one slightly smaller than the size you're actually crimping to, which is a worry, isn't it? Why not just make them the right size? Let's try that. Oh, that's feeling better. Right, I can't pull it off. Right, there we... get the heat shrink over it. I don't know why I use such a long piece. And then we heat that up with the thing that creates heat, which I'll dig out in a minute. But that is our first one done. So what that's going to do, we've got one going from battery terminal to starter. Then you have starter to fuse to alternator, and then we do have a cable that goes from the fuse box to the battery at the moment. I don't really know, I mean, I don't think it's meant to come from the starter, otherwise you're putting all the load through that cable, and that might now be enough. I'm going to run that from the little battery, from the battery up to there. Quick word on fuses. A standard TVR use a blade, not a blade. Like it's a strip of metal. These are much better. You want to use these really. So these are a MIDI or maxi fuse or whatever. And it's an actual fuse. They just degrade less when they're subjected to a bit of weather. So we'll get cracking with that. We'll go back down, tie that up. Before we go back down, shall we button up another loose end? That is the power steering pump. I'll show you a light. So that's how it'll sit. The pulley. Very hard to light in here. The pulley. There you go. The pulley bolts onto the front. And then there's an adjuster there, but it needs a little spacer. So we're going to have to make one of those. I haven't got it. Then there is a braided line from the rack that goes up to the reservoir, I think. Or not. Not sure where that goes. We'll work out. But then we have this. This is the one that goes pump to rack, and this has got a hole in it because it's been squished. And you can see that end's all floppy. It's very hard with one hand. This end is not, which is a bit weird because that end's the one by the engine, but I just sprayed it through with a bit of oil, and all the oil comes out the braiding, so there's a hole in it. So I'll take that to Pertec and get them to make me a new one, I think. But I'm gonna make myself a little spacer there, because you need to put that bolt in before you bolt the pulley on, because otherwise the pulley gets in the way, obviously. Just as a reminder, if we haven't, I'm using this. This is cracking bit of kit actually. That's just one of the cheap ones on Amazon. Put a link down there. And it makes some really good things. I've got cheap Amazon heat gun. I know I don't like spending money. No one likes spending money. I spend money on stuff that needs to have money spent on it. But if something like that, which is a very basic thing, is not very expensive, then why spend money on it? What else? So that's what the crimps look like. Nicely heat shrunk, and I have given that a thorough tug test. Mind out the gutter. A thorough tug test, and it's smashing. So I'm going to do all those, and then we'll come back, because once the battery stuff's done, we can bring the car down, put the rest of the interior back together, because inside my box of parts from Ash was the loom that goes on to the reverse switch up there, and there's a centre console, because we can actually put all the interior electrics together. I've then got the immobiliser, the new immobiliser alarm, that can all be plugged in, and we can see what springs to life. Now, I don't know whether that's something to really look forward to, or something that's actually quite scary. Now, of course, it's something to look forward to, but then we'll know what's broken. We'll know whether the dash works or not. So I'll see you shortly. Right, there we are. That's our major battery leads done. So I've got a link there, starter motor to nice fixing there. That's all cleaned up behind. With bolts like that, I'll cover them in a protective film. I'll show you in a minute. And then we've got our positive and negatives here. They're all obviously the bolt type. The battery is an 0272, so positive this side, negative this side. Now the next one we've got to sort though, so that's our main leads done. We just have a power over to the fuse box. So really, that's meant to come through the bulkhead there. And I know why it's not got a hole now, because looking at this was obviously replaced. This top of the battery tray was obviously replaced. So the best way, I think we're going to figure out how to run it. I mean, the neatest way, because we've got a much bigger starter lead there, is just to jump off the top of the starter terminal. I think we've got a very short length. I don't think the draw will be a problem. I mean, that's only that big for that initial draw from the starter. So I think we'll come off the top of the starter motor, because I don't know why this car's different to all the rest. It's made by TVR. Is that the lead from the fuse box in there is the right length to go to the top of the starter. It doesn't reach anywhere near the battery, even with the fuse cutout on it. So we need to bring it down for that anyway. I think I'm finished underneath, a couple of cable ties, and yeah, we'll take a look at that. Right, so we have main chassis earth. There's another earth up here, which goes through into the interior, and then our main ground for the battery. We've got our big battery cable here that goes over the starter. These are all upgraded to 50mm, as seems to be the want. So that shoots around the front of the engine here, comes up onto here. We then shoot over to our big new maxi fuse holder, up onto the alternator, and then we've also got our fuse box power here, which is a little 16mm. The reason that's not been changed to our maxi fuses yet is I need to get some 16mm crimps to change those. That's not fixed down yet because I need to wedge the air intake pipe in there, which looks like it just gets squashed into place anyway. Attached oil pressure sender, little coolant rail is there. I still need to get my two water temperature sensors. One is for the gauge and one's for the ECU, for the full injection. The alternator confused me a bit. I'm still not sure. So obviously got battery, and then we've got the uncoloured cable in the loom. I think that's for the tacho. Yeah, I think that's for the tacho, which is the W winding on the back. Then we've also got D, and there should be an exciter wire really. I've got this. I need to remind myself where that goes. That goes somewhere. I can't remember where. If not, we'll just run 12 volt to the exciter. It basically wakes the alternator up. What else have we got to do? What else have I done? Oh, coolant hoses for the heater, piped in. I've put the mini loom in for the centre console, just loosely. I need to do a little couple of cables up from the reverse switch as well. I'll show you. So that's all in loosely. There's basically a little sub loom that goes from the main loom into the centre console to do all the weird switches. What else? I found, if I pulled out this is standard by the way, I didn't do that. I can get to the back of all of the wiper mechanism bolts, which is good because I can bolt that back on, because essentially they used too long a bolt and the end of it went rusty, so as it came undone, nice, this is loose, it's coming out fine. It then, because the end was sticking out, was all rusty, it pulled the riv nut out. So we'll just bolt that from both sides. With a big spacer. What I might do actually is get a strip of metal across there, weld nuts to it, and then I'll just glue that in there, and then that will never be an issue again. because the rivet nuts are okay, but they're not that good in fiberglass, in my experience anyway. Oh, I've also had to play around in the footwell again. It's very dark, but in there is a box which sits inside the inner wing, which has all the ECU and everything in it. That wasn't fitted. I actually had it was full of parts, so I didn't know where it went, but obviously it was a bit of a struggle getting it past the pedal box, wasn't it? But if any of you watched the thing when I did the pedal box, you know full well that was never coming out again, unless we have something broken. Oh. Lovely bit of carpet back there. Yeah, that was great fun. So next we need to put the immobiliser and main ECU in. Some light. I need to just repair another connection. I went through pulling all of those and another one popped out. The immobiliser I've got, we will go through. I might do that as a short separate video, because I hope that might come in handy for other people as well, having that as just a separate, oh no, my immobiliser has shat itself on my Tuscan, how do I fit it? It's from Abacus Alarms, it should just be plug and play, so we'll do that. I think that's next. Yeah, I fixed a cable in the back of those Molex connectors before. Just use a bootlace ferrule, little crimp ferrule. It's about the right size. Push that in. It pushes the tang down in the locking pin, and just recrimp it. So, okay, we've taken a moment away from dirty things to look at the alarm and immobiliser for an early TVR Tuscan. That's what you need to install or replace one. This is to replace the Meta system, I believe. Here we have Immobilizer unboxing, and we get with this. Should we put something clean down? So to start with, we get fob. Yep, and a little carry case. We have second fob with some codes, and that is an inactive tag. We have this. We have that. We have a button. I'm looking forward to knowing what all these do. Ah, of course, that's a shield bag, so people can't copy it. Some cable ties. What, a TVR kit? Surely it should be Velcro. And that's what we get. So we get the manual for the Meta system. So that's just telling you what the fobs do. That's a BLE 42. Ah, yes, okay. Cool. So I mean, you can see he does a lovely job. The main thing about this kit, and I will read all this, I just wanted to sort of unbox it on camera because that's what people of the internet do. Then I'll tell you what everything means. Yeah, that just tells you what it all does. So, the best thing about this, and why it's worth money, is that our man at Abacus makes it plug and play. You just tell him what you've already got. And he even puts, that's attention to detail. He even caps that one off. I'm guessing that's just a little relay. Okay, right. So that is our immobiliser. Then here we have the bleepy thing, the alarm. And this should be the same, plug and play, once we understand what it all does. We've got an LED to stick to the windscreen. I'm guessing is that has like a combined button and LED that plugs into that. Yeah, okay. These are sort of separate, but sort of not, aren't they? And in this kit we have sounder. We have speakers, possibly. That's the LED bit to stick to the windscreen. Then we have, this is the actual ECU, and again the right plugs to connect to the car. So that'll just plug onto there, and then that will just plug somewhere else. What else have we got? We have the actual fobs. We'll put those over the top so you can't see the override code. And Anne Bracket. Hi, my name's Anne Bracket. More cable ties. And then the instruction. So, I've got some reading to do, and then you will join me either here or in the car. Oh, hi. Welcome to the front of my car. So, we're going to start with an easy bit. He says, now it's very easy to find this. He says, probably because your car will be assembled. Aha! But if you look for the only modern looking plug in that area, you'll see it goes to the noisy bit. That's the first bit installed. Pretty good at this, you see. Okay, now I wasn't sure whether to show where this stuff was, but it's all over the internet anyway, so if you Google it. So they really do just plug and play. You can't get them wrong. So what I've done there, they're plugged in. I've dangled the indicators over the edge for now. I've got my key. I'll put the fobs on there. We'll leave that in there for now. These are for if you've spec'd a microwave sensor, which I haven't. So they are the sensors for the little microwave sensor ECU. In the car, it's the hyper frequency module, I think. So we'll just leave that disconnected because I don't have it. If you do have it, it's in the instructions. They plug into that. Simples. And the other thing in there is you must connect the siren before you connect the power plugs to the alarm, otherwise it won't detect it. If you do it the other way around, it won't work. Just disconnect the power plugs from your replacement alarm unit, connect the siren, reconnect your power plugs. So now all I've got to do is put all the ancillaries on the engine and put some oil in it, because I'm terrified if I put the electrics on, I'll accidentally crank it over. I thought we'd turn our attention to the front. Partly because I found a bag of bags. I couldn't remember what they were. And I think they are mounts for the radiator. MG Rover 572312. Oh, they're extremely loose and definitely going to fall out. Not going to fall out. They're rubbish. They actually No, didn't right. Okay, that's good. Is very good. Okay. Lovely. A little bag of bags. What am I still missing? That's the key question, isn't it? Well, we got that, which is most definitely a thing. MG Rover? It's MG Rover or Volkswagen, isn't it? That is a coolant tank, or an expansion tank, or what have you. There we go. Right, we have some wiring to sort out. Actually, that one's okay. That's filthy. That is horn. I can't remember where they bolt somewhere. Move it down there a minute. Then we need to replace. That's what I need to do. Got to replace the plugs. I don't know if you can see, but they're missing. Well, all of it, and these are disgustingly filthy. So I can clean those, unplug them in. That's the oil temp thing. I've actually got an oil tank. You probably saw in a different clip. I got the wrong oil tank, which is very clever of me. But the right one is coming. It's just seemingly lost in the post, which is very, very irritating. And before that goes in, we'll have to just put a banjo on the feed there. So I think with that, I've got any of those Delphi connectors. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to sort that out. Yeah. Okay, sorry. It's quite difficult to think and do at the same time, and think, do, talk, all at the same time. So, yes. I'll tell you what the other thing we do need to do is paint the inner arches, don't we? Do we think that's a good idea before we put the radiator in? Because I'm going to have to sand that back. No, because I want to know if it runs. What's that one for? Oh, there's two horns. Okay, there's two horns. You know what is a bit odd? The radiator doesn't seem to fit. Oh, no. Slight oddity. You see? We're caught up there. And we're tight on that side. So we might need a spacer. It's custom. It's custom. Okay. Yeah, I think the probably best thing is the next job, I'm going to cover all that over with plastic. And then I'm just going to sand down the mankier bits of fiberglass, I think, and give that a little shot of paint. You probably all be thinking, oh, paint the effing thing, aren't you? So yeah, we'll do that, I think. That's a good idea.